Can you still feel the wind in your hair, the open road ahead, and the thrill of freedom that came with lowering the top on a sun-drenched afternoon? For many, the 1950s were defined by the gleaming chrome, white-wall tires, and humming engines of classic American convertibles, each one a rolling tribute to post-war optimism. Picture the sensation of cool leather beneath your fingertips as the scent of fresh-cut grass and gasoline filled the summer air, a sensory memory stitched into countless joyrides down Main Street or Sunday drives to the drive-in. These convertibles weren't just cars, they were dreams on wheels, reflecting a nation eager for adventure and possibility. Do you remember the pride of seeing a Bel Air or Thunderbird gleam in the driveway, or how the tunes from the radio seemed sweeter with the top down? Revisiting this golden era of style, innovation, and pure automotive joy, we'll relive the magic of machines that carried more than passengers. They carried hope, romance, and the spirit of the times. So, what made these iconic convertibles so unforgettable, and why do their memories still shine as brightly as their polished chrome? The story of the 1950s convertible begins years earlier, rooted in a country emerging from the shadows of World War II and stepping confidently into a bright, modern future. By the dawn of the new decade, America was transformed. Factories that once made bombers and boots shifted gears to produce cars that promised excitement, freedom, and a renewed sense of style. Amid dramatic changes in society, culture, and industry, the convertible became more than a car. It was the embodiment of the American dream on four wheels, open, optimistic, and ready to hit the open road. The origin of the convertible stretches back to the very first automobiles. In the earliest days, almost all cars were open-topped by necessity. Roofs were a luxury, not a standard feature. Yet, as technology advanced and closed-body vehicles became the norm, the open-air car morphed into a symbol of luxury and fun. After years of war rationing and subdued designs of the 1940s, Americans yearned for something more expressive. The convertible answered the call with a flourish, offering style, status, and a healthy dose of adventure. As soldiers returned home and families were reunited, there were not just new jobs and suburbs waiting, there were new roads. The creation of the interstate highway system in the mid-1950s, thanks to the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, revolutionized travel. Suddenly a road trip from Chicago to California was within easy reach, and a convertible was the perfect vehicle for such a journey. The car wasn't just a means of going from place to place, it turned the drive itself into the destination. Have you ever felt that pure sense of possibility setting out under a boundless sky, engine purring, with nowhere you had to be except the next horizon? It's hard to capture just how different life felt during those years. Car ownership in America soared in the 1950s. The number of vehicles jumped from about 40 million in 1950 to an astonishing 74 million by 1959. Parking lots filled with pastel Chevrolets, Fords, Buicks, and Oldsmobiles, each one eager to show off its own personality. But it was the convertible, with its sleek lines and retractable top, that stood apart. When you look back at photos from high school or family vacations, it's the glint of a shiny drop top that stands out against the background, whether at a small-town picnic, a bustling beach party, or a neon-lit drive-in theater. Did someone in your family have one of these beauties, or maybe a neighbor you secretly envied? The car companies themselves were engaged in a fierce, almost playful competition to win over the motoring public. In the late 1940s and early 50s, models like the 1949 Cadillac Series 62 convertible gave way to even more stylish offerings. General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler each poured resources into making their convertibles the boldest and most desirable on the market. The marketing was as dazzling as the chrome. Glitzy TV commercials and Color magazine spreads promised romance at the flick of a switch, or the most fun you can have on four wheels. One popular slogan declared, "America is on the move," and it certainly was. But the convertible wasn't just about showing off. It dovetailed perfectly with a generational shift. Young GIs had returned from overseas with money in their pockets and a taste for excitement. The GI Bill helped them afford college, homes, and a car, and for many the convertible was the ultimate status symbol. Teenagers, too, became a powerful new consumer force thanks to post-war affluence and the rise of youth culture. The convertible was the car to take to the sock hop, the malt shop, or just cruise down Main Street with the radio turned up. Surprisingly, the first electric convertible tops appeared on high-end models as early as the late 1940s, but they went mainstream in the 50s, letting drivers lower the roof with the push of a button instead of fighting with heavy canvas and stubborn latches. That touch of magic made top-down motoring more accessible and inviting than ever before. Imagine the pride in showing off that new power top to friends, or the audience it could draw at the local service station as the roof disappeared, transforming the car in a matter of seconds. But the historical context isn't complete without considering the role of American optimism. The 1950s were a time of looking ahead at space exploration, at advancing technology, at endless horizons. The American economy was booming, suburban neighborhoods were growing, and families found themselves with more time and disposable income. The convertible fit right into this world, modern, stylish, a perfect companion for a weekend getaway or a simple escape from everyday routine. Yet, beneath the cheerful surface, there was a subtle sense of competition among neighbors, and even among siblings, over who had the flashiest ride or made the grandest entrances. Not all convertibles were out of reach for the average family. While classics like the Cadillac Eldorado and Chrysler New Yorker carried hefty price tags, models like the Ford Fairlane or Chevrolet Bel Air offered affordable glamour. In fact, Chevrolet sold more than 20,000 Bel Air convertibles in 1957 alone, a reflection of just how hungry Americans were for adventure on wheels. One little-known fact is that Detroit auto workers often bought employee cars at discount, leading to whole neighborhoods where fathers polished the fenders of matching convertibles on Sunday afternoons, a golden age of shine, wax, and neighborly rivalry. The convertible's rise also dovetailed with another transformative shift, the rise of leisure travel. Motels sprang up along highways, and destinations like Disneyland beckoned families from across the nation. The Great American Road Trip became a rite of passage, and the drop-top convertible was an icon of that experience. Do you remember a childhood journey with the sun on your face and the wind tugging at your collar, your parents up front, laughing or singing along to the radio? You might not believe this, but some early 50s convertibles were advertised as all-weather cars. With snug-fitting tops and improved heaters, you could enjoy top-down motoring well into the autumn, and sometimes even on crisp winter days, provided you had a scarf and a sense of adventure. It's these little memories, a mix of practicality and daring, that made convertibles so beloved. As the 1950s progressed, the convertible became a fixture of not just personal, but public life. Presidents and movie stars were photographed in them. High school proms, parades, and homecomings nearly always featured a gleaming convertible carrying the local beauty queen or football hero. These cars arrived center stage, bathed in flashbulb light, and so did the people inside them. The end of the decade would see convertibles reach new heights of style and performance, but their roots were firmly anchored in the optimism, competition, and forward-looking spirit of post-war America. Every golden journey began with the twist of a key, the open sky above, and the promise that something magical was just around the next bend. But how did these early convertibles evolve into the technological marvels and style icons we remember so fondly today? As we move into the next part of our journey, we'll uncover the mechanical innovations and design choices that made 1950s convertibles not just beautiful, but revolutionary, setting standards that would shape American motoring for decades to come. As we roll down memory lane together and look back at the convertible cars of the 1950s, it's impossible not to feel the surge of nostalgia that these vehicles inspire. We've revisited how these remarkable machines were born out of a uniquely American spirit, shaped by an era brimming with optimism and the promise of endless highways. The post-war boom, the rise of suburbia, and the creation of the interstate all set the scene, giving families and dreamers alike new reasons to hit the road. These convertibles represented far more than a means of transportation. They promised adventure, individuality, and an exhilarating taste of freedom with every push of the pedal and every turn of the steering wheel. We've seen how automakers vied for the hearts of Americans, unveiling one stunning model after another, the Chevrolet Bel Air, Ford Fairlane, and Cadillac Eldorado, to name just a few, each designed to capture attention and spark the imaginations of drivers of all ages. The evolution from manual tops to power-operated marvels was just as much about convenience as it was about style, turning every drive into something just a little more special. You could feel the buzz in the neighborhood when someone pulled up with a brand new drop top, the sun catching the curves of chrome and the radio playing the latest hits. Convertibles became symbols of celebration, showing up in parades, at proms, and during family vacations, their presence marking moments big and small in our lives. Perhaps more than anything, the 1950s convertible evokes a time when things felt a bit simpler, a time when piling the family in the car meant picnics at the park or unplanned detours just for the sake of discovery. The sound of the engine, that easy laughter from the back seat, and the thrill of watching the world go by with nothing above you but sky. These are the memories that still put a smile on our faces today, each outing in one of these. Classic cars wasn't just about going somewhere, it was about cherishing the journey itself. And as technology advanced and design flourished over the decade, convertibles became an enduring symbol of the hope, style, and forward-thinking energy that defined the era. Looking back, it's moving to realize how strongly these cars connected us, not only to the places we traveled, but to each other. They helped create a shared language of experience and excitement, weaving together countless personal stories and family milestones. Whether you drove one yourself or simply admired them from afar, 1950s convertibles left an indelible impression on the culture, sparking dreams and encouraging adventures across generations. So now let me ask you, what's your most cherished memory of a convertible from the 50s? Was it a family road trip, a special moment with friends, or maybe just the feeling of freedom on a quiet Sunday drive? We'd love to hear your stories, big or small, in the comments below. Those shared memories bring this community to life and allow us all to relive the joy together. If this trip down memory lane brought you a smile, please give the video a like and consider subscribing for more nostalgic journeys. And if you know someone who would appreciate reliving these classic moments, share this with them so they can join in too. There are many more stories from the Golden Age still to come, and we don't want you to miss a single one. Thank you for letting the past ride shotgun with us today. Until our next adventure, remember, sometimes the best memories are made not from reaching the destination, but from savoring the open road and the wind in your hair, just as we did all those years ago.